Hey there, Team HNK. I've been sitting on this one for a while. Does marriage seem worth it? Like, every single time I'm thinking about marriage, I'm always sitting here like, really? I'm just so tired. Like, I'm just so tired. I can't do it, bro. Okay. I can't do it. Like, it feels like dumpster diving. Like, every single time you're in this fucking, you do the thing, you have to participate in the ritual. The fucking the favorite color. Like, I can't do it anymore. I'm so done. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Where, okay, you start talking to this person, you're approaching them, right? And maybe this is more for the guys, but you kind of have to do this pull and tug. And I think everyone's kind of been coerced just over the years of having to kind of like forcefully know how to do this ritual. And it's just annoying because a lot of the times the ritual is this game that's played and not more so like a bondage, right? And what I'm getting at is, you know, like the classic Riz thing, the charisma, like that back and forth thing you have to do where you're like, oh, hey, and you got to be all like, and I understand what it is, but when people say you reference, okay, you're spitting game indicates that somebody's getting played because you're not even being yourself. You're like playing up this character. And once that person understands that that character doesn't exist anymore, that's when the relationship fails. So I feel like everyone's like playing this game that they're ultimately always going to lose. Like every player, when you play a game, ends up back at the lobby. But a relationship is two binded souls for eternity. So the reason, so it's supposed to be an interlocking of the soul, not this 3D character game. You get what I mean? Where like the game is this character that everyone's portraying. And so it's so annoying having to do this. And what I mean is, so like to reference this towards like marriage, because that's what I'm really getting at is like, for me as a dude, and I don't know if maybe it's just Western civilization, but marriage does not seem like it, bro. It just don't seem like it. Like it feels like if I do it, I'm gonna be mad when I get my divorce because it's like everybody's getting divorced. Like these prenups and shit. You get the prenup and you're like, okay, it's all tied up. We're good. Cool. And then you see, you look in the news, right? You see Iman Shumpert, Tiana Taylor. She takes half of all his assets. Now, maybe there was something that actually went wrong and they had to get divorced. I'm not saying that like something in the relationship didn't, need this. And I'm not saying that she probably did help along the way and stuff like that. But I just think that the entitlement is so damning. It's like an embellishment that you lose every time as a guy. Like it's a go next. It's a GG's go next. You're in the gulag. You may as well call it quits. You're not coming back. You're not recovering. You're on 1 HP. You just got knocked, half a heart. You need your teammate to res you, and you're gonna go into this drunken spiral all over. Like I'm already predicting the future of like if I get divorced, I can just imagine myself just that's my midlife crisis. That's my it's over for me. I'm downing the bottles. I'm talking to the end of a bottle. It's like, oh man, it's just marriage for me just does not seem like a viable thing. And I'm trying to like sigh out myself in a way where like I can see it as like a thing that or like not that it doesn't matter, but like a thing that like I can convince myself to partake in. But every single time, you look at these modern women and it's just like you're honestly just scrounging for scraps. Because, right, this kind of ties to my reference in my video of women running out of time and just like how the T app was. What I'm getting at is women are running out of time and men have forgot to receive love. And what I'm talking about is it's been so fucking long since humans have just been genuine that you kind of forgot how to receive love. It feels like this foreign energy that when you get it, it's remiss. It feels like, is it real? Is it like, right? And so, like, I got fake people showing fake love to me, straight out to my face. You're kind of like in this illusion of unknown, right? Of unknowability. And what I'm getting at is since women are not generally taught from like the start of being disciplined, because like for guys, right, even if you were like not that disciplined, like myself, I'm not like disciplined at all, really. I'm kind of disciplined in terms of like I can focus on like things because I have ADHD. I can focus on things, but I have to like actually care about the thing to focus on it. So that's kind of like my thing. But when it comes to just in general as a guy, you're kind of already told to be disciplined. Like it's already a lingering thing, just socially, like dynamically, you're told to be have some form of discipline, regardless of what it is. But for some women, they're kind of just free. And what the problem is that lack of, because it's a human thing, right? Discipline is not just going by men, and that's what we're being told. It's supposed to be for the human, right? The Bible teaches this, right? This is something that the Talmud teaches. This is something that every religion teaches, because it's like human tutorial 101, most religions. But what I'm getting at is this concrete form of understanding that energies intertwine, and if you get too much of energy, some of that will return back, right? Sort of karmic. But when you have a lack of it, right, then you reap what you sow later on. What I'm getting at is women are running out of time, because what happens is early on they get this sprout of energy, right? They're young in their 20s, they're spry, they're going to the club, they're getting their drinks bought from them, etc. And then as time goes on, they kind of get abused in the form of promiscuity and abundance, right? And you might not see it that way when you're in the moment. Like remember, perfect example. Remember when Percy Jackson, they kept pulling up the Percy Jackson, the God movie, the little kid movie, right? They kept coming up with these lotus flowers, and every single time they took the desire, they didn't realize that they were wasting time. Every single time they took it, and they didn't even know that they was going, like the time that was going right, it was like years ahead or something like that, right? Like, so every single time they was taking these, and what I'm getting at is they're running out of time because, for example, over time, right, they're gonna go for the highest bidder, this upper experience echelon, right? And then they're gonna keep going for that high, right? They're going for these highs, never really checking out the lows. And so what ends up happening is that deficit over time catches up to them once they're in their 30s, 40s, right? And up. And then they effectively kind of get rendered useless because over that time they didn't have an actual discipline or like a study they learned or like an actual passion they had or like something that they were truly into. And you can see this if you look on YouTube, there's tons of videos on this. I may even make this a series. There's tons of videos of girls, women saying like, you know, I didn't have much discipline growing up. I was young in my 20s. I was spry. I was doing this. And then like, you know, you get that midlife crisis because that effectively didn't allow you to hone in on a skill that you could build as a career, or hone in on a skill. And a career doesn't have to be going to college, a career or some form of entrepreneurship, right? Because those things were handed to you so lightly. But as a guy, you were already told to like, no one's coming to save you. You got to do your own thing, right, etc. And so what happens is, since that nourishment goes extracted for so long for like everyone basis, because the mothers are out and they're not loving their children or they're not doing this, right? What ends up happening is the men forget to how to receive love because it's so foreign. So when they actually do find a genuine girl or like a genuine person, you kind of don't know what to do when it's real, because you're kind of like, is it real? Is it not? Is it just to get something? Because everybody knows if you have something of value, women flock over and they use that thing, right? That little femininity thing, if you know what I'm talking about, to get what they want. And it always ends up going to the highest bidder. But what I'm getting at is this ties and is applicable to marriage, because now with marriage over time, are people going to be able to actually like see each other for who they are? Like right now, it's looking like people are going to robots because at least they can confirm that this robot at least cares. It's not real, it's artificial, but you can confirm that there's not an ulterior motive. You know that this robot has your best interest. Why? Because you programmed it to be, right? And so humans are kind of flawed and they're not generally programmed in that nature often. So you kind of have a bunch of people actively or both extensively retroactively partaking in their own demise over time. So men are proactively kind of losing their emotional tendencies and being told like being emotional, soft, and wrong, etc., right? And not expressing how you feel, right? So they're kind of holding in that mean like spirit, right? Because it's like eventually, because a man is an impulse, right? So when all that stuff is buried in, eventually it sprouts back out, right? And for women, they're being told like, oh, girl boss, etc., all that. And this is more so in Western civilization. What I'm getting at is over time, the defect is going to be men are going to continue to get angry and build all their wealth and success off of resentment, and women are going to effectively appreciate over time and be ran out and run out of time unless they've built a skill, right? That can be, I'm saying, a girl can cook her way into a husband, a girl can babysit their kids in ways. It's very simple. A man is not that complicated, and they overcomplicate it. It's very, very, very simple, right? But so that effectiveness is going to be reduced, and men are probably end up going to go to jerking off to hentai dolls or like weird shit, like using fifis and all these like weird toys and shit, and then women are going to reside to dildos, roses, and all that like weird shit, right? And then it's just going to be like this continuous cycle, like no one's really having connections and no one's really getting married and no one's having genuine until or unless it's destroyed. And this artifact is social media. Social media, the dynamic of it, if it's destroyed, then it can be effective, but it's not. And it probably will never be destroyed because you need social media. A lot of people need to make money off of it. It's a great attention seeking app. It's a good business, entrepreneurship, right? But what it is that if people get their biggest reality check, even maybe a COVID, but COVID is part of this reason why this is even more prominent than it actually was. But the reality check is what no one has received because now everyone is in the perception of their options, right? People think they have more options than they genuinely do, right? Which is sort of this incongruence with society where you kind of feel this self-fulfillment that you're entitled for more, and this embodiment allows you to feel as if you are, more special than you are. I think everybody and their brain, ideally, if they're confident enough and have enough steam, see themselves as a little bit more effective than their nearest partner. Maybe they think, hey, I'm a more refined chef. Oh, I'm the best cook. I'm the best video recorder. I don't know. And so it's like the continuum is going to only spiral down even longer as long as social media exists, as long as AI continues to get even more efficient, as long as quantum computing becomes even more powerful and VR becomes more immersive. It's basically like predicting the future and watching time pass as we move on. And we're kind of just sitting along the ride. Like we're like the Wall-E people, the Wall-E people, the little fat people, and they're just sitting in their chair. And they're just like, that's us. That's us right now. We're kind of just like, yeah, I don't know. But I'm tying this back to marriage because, like, I don't think I'll get married. If this is where everyone's going and this is where time is going, I don't think you get married. Some people think AI is a bubble and quantum computing is a bubble, but it may not be. I mean, how can it be? Because you can scale it infinitely. You can only get AI can only get smarter. Quantum computing can only get more efficient. It can get even faster. I just don't think people have gotten that. They haven't got the day-to-day digitalized version of it, right? So it's in their hands as prominent as they think it is, right? They already have like AI, like ChatGPT, etc. And some of that stuff is a little refined. But once you get to like quantum computing and you get to how it works, right, where it's registering, firing off from qubits at a quantum subatomic level, right, and you have to use it like it has to be very cold and freeze at this like particular temperature, and it does it so fast, it does combinations quicker. Like quantum computing is going to be able to crack Bitcoin wallets at some point, right, because it's so fast. But what I'm getting at is this simplicity is not as refined as they think it is. Like people are going to continue to see marriage as this like burden more than an actual bonding between a marriage and of two people who genuinely like each other, because it's supposed to be an everlasting soul tie, not really like this body embodiment. And when I reference all the way back to the beginning, it's this ritual scripture that you're supposed to do this game, and you're supposed to run game on them and do that, right? And it does allow them fall in love, but a lot of that meticulous trickling ends up falling flat because that person's first impression, which is their computational interpretation of you when they first meet you, is going to be the program they run in their brain whenever they interact with you. And then once you fall short of that character, what happens? They fall out of it. They're like, this is not the person I remember when I first met you. But it wasn't the person that they didn't realize when they first met you. That just was never you. So that's what I'm getting is like, people got to be themselves, be genuine, live in love, live, laugh, live in enlightenment, become the best version of themselves, right? That's kind of the best way, right? Most people's problems of being a partner is not being the right partner because they haven't done the inner work. Do the inner work and live in enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? Meditate, go outside, work out, all that good stuff. And it doesn't mean that every marriage is gonna, just be great because like, please love me, please love me. I did more push-ups. It's not gonna always be perfect, but you're always gonna have to figure out like the trials and tribulations, and more so people who relate. People like what they look in the mirror at. Like people like what they see in the mirror. That doesn't have to be visually, but it can always be like personality, etc. Um, but I think that this sort of emaciated culture is kind of why people are scared and kind of scarce when it comes to relationships nowadays. Is it sucks. It sucks dealing with people who are, and it kind of comes off of like IQ and low IQ people. It's like they're like not even fully aware of the problems that they need to fix, right? Like some people, like if you don't if you have a world of people who don't even know where to start, you're really cooked, right? They don't even know where to start. So um yeah. And then okay, you can know where to start, but you have the willpower. Do you want to continue? Like there's just so much that comes with it. But that's why I just don't think I'm gonna get married. I'm out of it, man. I'm just, for me, it just seems like such a burden. Like, oh, can you just imagine, bro? You put in all this work. You do the thing. You work out every day. You take care of your kids or whatever, right? And I'm only 21, so like maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but like later on, and the thing is I'm gonna have to because it's this thing. It's this thing that's kind of like it's like a human like contract. Like I feel like you have to. Actually, I'm not gonna say contract in terms of marriage, but I feel like when you have kids with someone, that's kind of like the human contract is like procreation, and then when you have kids with someone, you kind of want to get married, and then it's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind and I'll find the one, but these options are, and I just think the options right now are so bad. There's no way they're going to get better in the future, right? Like, how are they going to get better in the future where we're headed with technology? Like, I just don't see it. Look at Peter Thiel. He doesn't even have Peter Thiel doesn't even have the embodiment of human emotion. He's not even a human, let alone dealing with other people. Like, I don't know. It's just it's not the best, but that's my yap about stuff like that. Okay, so I don't even know what I'm going to title this. I'm either going to title it "Women Are Running Out of Time" or "Why I'm Never Getting Married." But yeah, all right, teenage cat. I'll see you guys when you're older.